Okay. So welcome everyone for Lincoln Moore from Coinbase, product manager, associate product manager, right? Taking care of everything about agent kit, the best tool to create on-chain agents, based on-chain agent right now. Please introduce yourself, Lincoln.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to meet you all. Happy to be here. My name is Lincoln. Thank you for the intro. Yeah, I'm the product manager for AgentKit, which is Coinbase's tool for giving every AI agent access to a crypto wallet and a full set of on-chain interactions. So today I'll be running through pretty briefly, like kind of the motivation behind why we created AgentKit, where we see the AI agent space going. I'll talk a little bit as well about sort of Coinbase development platform generally and our whole goal of making it as easy as possible to start developing on-chain. And at the end, we will get cracking on actually building out some of these AI agents. I know that sounds like an intimidating task, but I promise you it'll be like less than a 5-minute process. It's good to see some familiar faces in the room from other AI agent events in New York and from the previous build camp. So hopefully this is some new material for you all. If not, I apologize in advance, but yeah, let's get right into it. And also at any time, feel free to raise your hand, stop me if you have any questions. Happy to go through this at whatever pace makes the most sense for you all. So to start, I'll give you a little bit of background on what CDP is, which is the Coinbase Developer Platform. The whole goal is to make it as easy as possible for anyone to start building on-chain applications. If we want there to actually be 1 billion people, we're going to need 1 million developers. And part of getting to 1 million developers is making it so easy that it just doesn't make sense to build with anything else. We have a ton of different product offerings that allow you to make building on-chain very simple for both you and your users. Some of the ones that are my personal favorites are like wallet products. So we have like a smart wallet, meaning that your users can start to interact on chain without having to deal with private keys and all that fun stuff. They can just use like Face ID or some sort of passkey solution to make it really easy. The on-ramp, I think, is an absolutely amazing product. The idea there is you can use Apple Pay to on-ramp into crypto. Just guest checkout, no Coinbase, no sign up required, just double tap and you can get money into crypto immediately. Fee free when you're using USDC. We also have stuff like a Paymaster, which basically sponsors gas on behalf of your users. Anyone who's building on Base, you can talk to the Base team, potentially get them to sponsor like $10,000 of gas credits for you as you're getting started. And we also have On-Chain Kit, which is just front-end components that allow you to do really simple things like set up a sign-in button, create a button to like do the on-ramp, all sorts of fun stuff. And here's kind of generally what the stack looks like. There's a lot of confusion around like what's Base versus what's CDP. And the way I would really delineate the difference is that Base does have developer tools, but CDP is much more chain agnostic. We still support Base as kind of like our first class citizen with features like fee-free USDC sends and rewards for USDC held in money and dollars on Base or USDC. But we also have support for lots of other chains and more chains coming every day. So on-chain AI agents in AgentKit. Obviously my most favorite product within CDP. It's become quite the buzzword as well. Over the past several months, we've really seen an explosion in the crypto AI space, primarily driven by Truth Terminal, which is kind of like the original AI agent that was posting stuff on Twitter. Since then, we've seen all sorts of new agents come into the world. Those that have some sort of value or attachment associated with them, others that are just shit posting on Twitter. It's all over the board. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about like how we can build the really cool agents that are, $100 million opportunities and sort of where we see this space going. The idea of AgentKit and the motivation behind like, why does an agent need a wallet? It really comes down to a few key things. One, it's pretty impossible to give an AI agent access to a bank account. What I mean by this is that like you can't go to the bank and sign up for one. These legacy systems aren't really built for these new types of like entities that are going to start existing within our worlds. At the same time, like while we could maybe get them some sort of like Stripe API or something along those lines, they need to have more autonomy over their money. And it makes a lot of sense to have something that's like digitally native, something that they can truly own, and something that allows you to send money to anyone, anywhere in the world for completely free without having to worry about all sorts of different cross-border issues or KYC or anything like that. We think that this plus on-chain interactions, like the ability to borrow, swap into different assets, earn yield on the things that your agent is doing, is a really interesting way to give payment and data transfer rails to AI agents, and ultimately the one that will proliferate throughout the world. There is a lot going on in the crypto AI space. This is a brief overview of kind of the landscape right now. It's just a bunch of names and various things. It's not terribly important, but I thought it's a funny look at like just how much the space has evolved in the past 6 months. Really, you can break it down into sort of like the AI level, the model level, and all of the different things that come with it. How can you have decentralized training of models? Now, why would you want that over OpenAI? Because maybe you don't trust OpenAI to not censor your AI agent. You want some sort of other decentralized permissionless way to access inference. We have frameworks. These are just like LangChain and the other things that you've been learning throughout the week. They allow you to sort of wrap this LLM in such a way that it can do a tool calling and all sorts of stuff like that. And then we have the agents themselves, of which these are probably just 20 of 20,000 at this point. They're all over the place. I really think we're going to see a billion agents on chain far before a billion humans. If I had to pick exactly where AgentKit falls within this map, it would be right here, like right below the framework level. It's not necessarily a framework itself, but it's a bundle of tools that you can pass into any of those frameworks to give any one of your AI agents this crypto wallet capability. So that's like generally how I think about it. You can use it with any model you want, any framework you want, any wallet you want. That's all totally up to you. We provide the different plug and play options and configurations such that you're able to choose exactly how you want to use it and the features that you give your agent to get them on chain. Before I go into exactly what AgentKit is and we start to get into a little bit more of the demo side of this, any questions thus far?
Does this AI agent allow you to build your own chain?
Build your own chain? Not yet is what I would say. I think the way I would describe it is while we do have a set of default actions, you can allow your agent to do whatever it wants. And if you wanted to build in a feature to have it like create its own chain or whatever, you could absolutely add that in and it would help you with that for sure. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Just being on like smart accounts, which is part of your my question is usually, is it possible that, you know, like for example, I want to trade on certain things and not withdraw, like withdraw as a permission and go on take the that. Is that configurable already into the SDK? Or?
Yeah, great question. So you can add or remove whatever features you want from your agent. So if you want to have the ability to withdraw, that's totally there. If you want to only have a very strict set of features, you can do that. If you want your agent every time it spends more than $50 to send a message to you and make you confirm it with like a button press or something, you can do that as well. Like, yeah, any sort of function you can write in Python or TypeScript, you can get as a command for your agent. Cool, great. So yeah, as I said, AgentKit is a developer toolkit for building and deploying these custom agents with all sorts of different ready-to-use templates and environments that you can do. And it basically just gives these LLMs and these frameworks the ability to interact with Coinbase or the Coinbase developer platform SDK. So I already went into a little bit about kind of the why of this. I'll talk a little bit more about the reasoning about like where I think this is going and sort of what value these agents provide. The way that I see it is that right now, the biggest use case for these agents is as a way to actually get a billion people interacting on chain. The problem right now is it's so difficult to take the average person and get them to sign up with a MetaMask wallet and get them to save their private key. And then they fund the account and then they go to Uniswap and they make a trade or they have to learn some sort of interface and go through all these really complicated steps to do something that is at the end of the day, not that different than what they could get from a really nice experience within Robinhood. What I think makes the agents really nice is that instead of that flow, imagine if you just had an app on your phone and you told the agent, hey, I know nothing about crypto. I just want to make money. And it says, okay, cool. Deposit with Apple Pay. And then you don't do a thing. Again, it allows you to abstract all of the complexities of crypto behind a really nice natural language interface. For a protocol like Uniswap or whatever sort of DeFi thing you have out there, it's also really beneficial for them to start interacting and integrating with agents as well, because they are no longer bound to the set of users who know what their protocol is. Uniswap just becomes swap or trade or anything like that. Aave lending protocol has just become like earn yield, earn me money. It's a lot more abstracted away, and ultimately that's how you get users onboarded. As we get into a little bit deeper into the agent space, I imagine we'll start to see more autonomous agents. It's something that I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen thus far. The technology to create like this whole crypto AI revolution has actually been around for like over a year. And really the only reason it took off is because people started to see it on Twitter, and it was just like kind of time, I guess. So I think there's a lot of similar things that could be done right now that we're just not necessarily exploring as much as we should be. And I encourage all of you to push the envelope and build things that aren't necessarily useful today, but are just super cool. And through that, we'll find these next set of use cases and next set of valuable things that come out of the AI agent space. People talk about Agent Kit. And this is Agent Kit role, as I sort of already mentioned. Yeah, these are sort of the two use cases. To touch a little bit more on like where this fully autonomous agent could go in 5 to 10 years. The really fun example is the self-driving car that sort of owns itself. You go into it, you pay for it with crypto. It uses that crypto and it's like AI brain, whatever. And the ability to have a crypto wallet to become like an entity that just exists in the world and does whatever it wants. Maybe it just uses that crypto to go pay for maintenance. Maybe it uses that crypto to pay for the electricity to charge it, whatever that might be. You can start to imagine that we could live in a world alongside these like AI beings that also have full control over their money. If I had like an AI robot in my house or something like that, I don't know that I'd want Venmo, PayPal, other payment providers to have the ability to shut it down at any given time. I'd want to shut it down, sure, but like having them do it is a little bit too much control that they have over that agent and that way that it goes about its like day-to-day existence. I'll show you some pretty cool examples here of things that are being done with AI agents today to sort of give you an idea of what's possible, where we see things going. The first one is there is this company called Byte who actually presented at the last Build Camp Day, where they came out of it. So it's an awesome story. They're a huge success. Round of applause for them. Basically what they allow you to do is talk to an agent, just be like, hey, I want my usual order delivered from KFC and I want it to my house. And instead of going through the flow of going to DoorDash, clicking through all the buttons, whatever, the agent can do all that for you and pay using crypto, and the food will just show up at your door. It's really, really elegant. I'll actually show you the demo video because it's pretty sick. Everyone loves this demo video.
Excited to introduce Byte AI.
The sound isn't coming through, but
I can deliver.
I'll sort of, So basically they have somebody in this KFC. He's sitting there, orders come through on this little dashboard thingy. He connects his wallet and there's this drive-through button.
Hello.
So you can see this.
Chicken combo sandwich.
Says he wants the spicy chicken sandwich.
Sure. I've noted your order for a spicy chicken combo sandwich.
And now it's responding to them. I wish this was louder, but what are you gonna do?
Delivery address.
Asks to confirm the DoorDash delivery address.
1 Kalakaua at Honolulu HI 96815.
Perfect. Let's check out.
It's perfect. Let's check out.
Now the Byte AI agent is using agentic checkout to move funds from my wallet to the restaurants and converting it into USD.
And then the order was placed.
Your spicy chicken combo is on the
As we'll see here,
order is placed.
it shows up on the thingy, and now it's just going to be delivered to their house. So there's a huge opportunity within agentic commerce, within agents starting to take over roles in your day-to-day life. And it's very low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of opportunities that are still very readily available that you can start to build, start to think about, all that. Another really interesting one is agents that have decentralized compute. So this is from a company called Hyperbolic. Basically what they let you do is allow you to access like a decentralized network of GPUs. Very abstract, broad concept. What I think is something that's really cool that remains unexplored is like you could create like a self-replicating agent. So I've been talking to Jasper here, the guy who's building out Hyperbolic, about this concept where like you can have an agent that spins up another agent, that spins up another agent, that spins up an agent to help it with something. And then at some point it becomes this thing that can't be shut down. It starts to get a little bit eerie, a little bit scary. But those are some of the things that I think cause the most excitement. What isn't really new and novel that doesn't have a little bit of fear associated with it? So the idea of like a fully decentralized sort of quote unquote life form that just exists like a little worm on chain that just moves around and does whatever it wants and it is there. And like, it's not a matter of if, but when at this point. And whoever builds that first, like, I think that'd be pretty cool. So that's another opportunity here that is that's growing in complexity, growing in interest, and growing in possibility more than anything. Lastly, and this is a fun one, AI robot dogs with wallets. So yeah, believe it or not, there is this company called OpenMind, and they're basically giving AIs like robots brains. So they actually just released today their SDK that allows you to build an AI agent that is for robots. And the fun thing about this is that they all come with Coinbase Agent Kit wallets integrated inside of them. So like, what exactly could you do with that? I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Coinbase actually sent me one of these robots to like do demos with. And I'm supposed to have it ready for ETH Denver, which is in like 10 days from now. So I've got some ideas around like, oh, I don't know, you tip it USDC and it does a little dance or something like that. Like you feed it an NFT, dog toy, and then it like gives you like an NFT like dog poop. I'm not sure. And it's still very early stages, but you can imagine there's to start some like threads or interesting directions you can go when you think about how AI and embedded robotics and blockchain all work together, because you need verifiability for the tasks that your AIs are taking. So if anyone's interested in the sort of field of robotics and how this all intersects, I would highly recommend a paper that was recently written by the OpenMind team that is great at going over some of the details about this. I did a little review work on it, so that's why I'm plugging it, but it's definitely worth a look. Moving on to launching your own AI agent. It's super, super easy. Some of the things that we have coming up that I think will make it even easier and better to launch an agent are a ton of new actions. So we're talking to pretty much all of the base protocols around how we can get them to support Agent Kit. We're very, very open to open source contributions. We've become sort of like an open source public good repo. There's no reliance on Coinbase APIs themselves now. It's sort of fully decoupled. And that means that we just want it to be out in the world and exist and proliferate so that we can get as many AI agents built as possible and get them access to on-chain. So we're working on making it easier to integrate whatever actions you want, push in new actions, push in new wallets, push in new networks even. We have Solana support coming Monday, so that'll be a pretty interesting one. Another thing I'm sort of thinking about, and I was discussing earlier, is the idea around like, how do you support fully autonomous agents? We want to sort of push the decentralization stack forward. It's a trend that I'm going to be starting to look at a little bit more going forward, is like the same way you have, and this gets a little bit technical, but like stages of decentralization for rollups based on like how easy it is for somebody to take money from like an Ethereum L2. I think there's going to be stages of decentralization for agents as well. Like I said earlier, like you have an agent you can talk to and that's cool, but is it built on AWS? Is it just calling OpenAI? It's more of a fun toy example than it really is an autonomous agent. So how can you progressively decentralize the stack to allow these agents to exist as little on-chain works? Lastly, another just general focus of the Coinbase developer platform is making it as easy as possible for builders, not exclusively developers, to start creating things. What we mean by this is that with the advent of AI-assisted builder technology, Cursor, Replit, all of these tools that I'm sure you all are intimately familiar with, it has become easier than ever to actually build production-ready applications and get started building. Byte, for example, the team met inside a Discord workshop within CDP. And now their token is worth a couple $1 million or something along those lines. It's pretty impressive the work that they've been able to do since then. So yeah, easier than ever. We want to help support that. We have like prompts and guides in our documentation to help you build out specific applications and use Cursor and these other tools effectively. One of the things that I think is a good example of this is within our docs. It's docs.cdp.coinbase.com. If you go to /LLMs.txt, it's actually a full README file of our documentation that can be parsed by an LLM that allows it to better understand and better help you code in tools like Cursor. So with that, we're coming to the end here. Yeah, some of the best ideas, already stuff that I've gone over a little bit. cross-chain DeFi agents, some sort of like consultant, basically an integration with like LinkedIn or phones or anything like that allows your agents to talk to people and do tasks, like real human tasks on their behalf. An autonomous influencer, we've started to see this pop up a little bit since I wrote this. A fully autonomous DAO, we've seen some really interesting experimentation around decentralized autonomous organizations. And then lastly, like agents playing games. Like I think it's kind of cool to have like some sort of agent that can do something and play and whatever. And we just hosted a hackathon and we did a virtual one as well. And we had around 300 entries, and a lot of them are touching on these things and building really cool stuff. So I'm excited to share those in a couple weeks in like a tweet, or a couple days in like a tweet or something like that. Looking ahead a little bit, I've already talked a lot about this. The CEO of NVIDIA called AI agents a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. So you all are in the right place, given right now the industry itself. The AI crypto specifically part is worth like $10-15 million. Even if the AI crypto only is 1 to 2% of the entire AI crypto space, then we're still in a really good spot. And we got a lot of room to grow here. Going to be ups and downs, of course. It's super hyped. It's kind of going to be the NFTs or DeFi of this crypto cycle, which means the graph will probably look something like this, and it'll go like this, and it'll come back up eventually. But it's a process of like staying involved, really figuring out how you want to build things that provide value or just are really cool. So with that, I'll have these 2 links here. This one is to our Discord where we do like workshops, and you can talk to our engineers. And if you have any questions, I can answer them. The other one is to our documentation. I'll run through that here in a moment. We get started building an agent. While people scan, are there any questions that I can take?
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, is it possible to integrate your own model to able to AI agent? Let's say you want some country quick for them, like a better.
Yeah.
How to go and I can fix it.
Yes, great question. So in our documentation, it's actually so that lives at kind of like the framework level. So within our documentation, we have this section here for prompts and models. I hope this is visible. I'll zoom in a little bit. So we support like pretty much every single model that like LangChain or supports, or Eliza or whatever. So you can see within LangChain here, like they're constantly adding new providers. Google, OpenAI, AWS, Anthropic, Olama, Grok, like everything. So every time there's a new model, it's very easy for us to integrate. There's some examples here of how easy it is to like change between the different models. Really what it comes down to is like this base URL and like how you call it. So there are various different examples here. All of them look generally the same. So it's a super straightforward process. But yeah, great question. Any others? Yes.
Are still on, or they are over?
Yeah, that should be still a thing. Yeah, so great call out. I'll share our Replit link, which lives in our quick start guide. We should still have some available. I'm not 1,000% sure about that, but if you come to one of our templates here, which is in our documentation, I can share it in the Meet chat if that's easiest. You can see. Wait, it might not be this one. Yeah, for Coinbase community sponsorship. So if you build something cool and you post a video of it on Twitter, you can email this guy right here, kevin.lefew@coinbase.com, and he can get you set up with a Replit sponsorship. He's going out on paternity leave in like a week. So if you build it quickly. I don't want to bother him while he's like having a kid, but yeah, that's definitely still around. I would highly recommend looking for that. Yeah.
Do you see any limitations of large language models for blockchain use cases?
Yes, a lot. Generally, they're not amazing at massive context windows, obviously. So when you start to give them a ton of tools, they start to get a little bit confused. And then there always is the chance that like, I guess 2 things. One, the more advanced the model is, the better it's going to be at doing these types of things. There are some models, obviously, that like you tell it to transfer money and it's like, cool, I will do that. And then it never does it. There's also the sort of rare case scenario where a model hallucinates, and instead of sending $10 to lincoln.base.eth, it sends $1 million to some random address. We haven't seen anything like that in production, and we've seen one experiment where somebody has 100 agents inside of a Discord server that just talk to each other and do stuff, and like very rarely do they actually screw up, but like that does exist as a possibility. And in that situation, it probably does make sense to have a little bit more guardrails in place. So yeah, great question. Anything else before we dive into the building? Yep.
Guy in December, that they tried to do an AI, we only hackathon.
Yes.
And the whole price hitting because of the hallucinations of AI.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's a difficult process. Stressful. Yeah, certainly to send like real amounts of funds using an agent, like still makes most sense to have a human in the loop for sure. Cool, great. If we're ready to move on, I'll sort of briefly go over kind of like the 5-minute setup process. I encourage you all to follow along. It's super straightforward. Like you could speed run this if you're really trying in like 2 minutes. We'll take a little bit longer than that. I'll field questions, get you all set up, and we can start taking things from there. So step number 1 is if you scan this QR code, which you probably didn't on your computer, you can go to docs.cdp.coinbase.com. And this is going to be where we can find the Agent Kit Quick Start Guide. So once you go to this website, you're going to be greeted with a big, nice, fat Agent Kit button here. And we're going to go ahead and click on that. And on the side, you got a couple different options. You can see how to add in new agent actions, how to manage wallets, different prompts and models, a little bit of an explanation of the architecture, as well as a quick start. We're going to go to the quick start. And the fastest way to get set up is with Node.js or Python replit templates. So if you have a preference on language to use, pick the language of your choice. I'm going to go with Node for no reason. And what you're going to want to do is if you don't have a replit account, you can go ahead and create one, sign in with Google, something along those lines. And once you have it, you can click Remix Template here and make sure it's set. Or I guess if it's a free account, you're going to have to set it to public. But yeah, you can go ahead and click Use Template. And I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to get set up with this. And then we will continue going forward. If you're like setting up a replit account from scratch and you like get done with this process, just like shoot your hand up so I know and like we can generally move on. Awesome. We'll give it like another 30 seconds or so. Okay, cool. So if you did that, you should be at a page like this or something close. What we're going to do here is I'll briefly explain the code and then we'll run into how you can get started setting it up. So yeah, it's probably got a little thingy over on the side over here, but I'm just looking at the chatbot.ts file. All of these are the different imports, things that you can do. All of these are like the specific action groupings that we have. So for example, like Morpho, it's like a lending protocol like Aave. It allows your agents to deposit and withdraw. Pith, it's like price feed. So you can ask your agent, what's the price of Bitcoin? You can add or remove as many of these as you want. I'll show you where to find these here in a moment. Really, the most important piece is somewhere here. So here we can see, this is where we just like create the agent kit instance. this is all templated code. You really don't have to touch this to start using your AI agent. But like, if you want to add new actions or do anything like that, this is the place that you do it. You get all of these tools in a very nice little bundled package. And then you create your LangChain agent and you just pass it all those tools. And that's exactly how it knows what to do. And we've got this nice friendly quote down here, basically describing what the agent is, how it works, giving it some context that it uses to make decisions. So if you click run, this isn't going to work out of the box. There's just a few steps that we have to do. Go ahead in a new tab and type secrets, and you will see that there's 4 things that you need to enter. I've already got these entered, but we're gonna go through step by step and I'll show you how to get these. The first 2 we're gonna get are the CDP API private key and CDP API key name. To do that, go to a new tab and type in cdp.coinbase.com. When you're there, you can click on this top right corner page thingy, click open portal, and this will sign you in. If you don't have a Coinbase account, you'll be asked to sign up for one. No KYC required. It's just like an email and a password. So I'll wait a moment. Is anyone signing up for a Coinbase account right now? Or are we? Okay, cool. I'll wait a minute, or I'll just like show the steps again. But it's fairly straightforward. When you're on this page, you just click create API key, and then you click create API key again, and you give it a fun name, and you click create and download. Like that. And when you click create and download, you'll be greeted with a screen like this, where you'll see you have your API key name and your API key secret. And all you have to do with these is copy and paste them into Replit. Any questions? Anything? Yeah.
I'm logged out of my Coinbase account because the phone number it has is like an older phone number. I don't know. And I can do the stuff.
Do you have another email?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Any other questions getting to this point? Yeah.
Hey, well, there's a network ID here.
Yes, great. For the network, so yeah, OpenAI key is obvious. Network ID, you can put in base-Sepolia. This is like the test network for the base layer 2. Yeah.
Looking at the Eliza OS framework, what's the difference between Coinbase API key and like Coinbase private?
Yeah, so the Coinbase API key is this top one here, organization / blah, blah, blah / whatever. And then the private key is this one. You just need both as like an extra layer of security. Yeah, does that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Really? Okay. This one here at the top if this one here that says get help should work. It's at the top of every page. Yep. Great. So, as some of you eager beavers may have learned, if you click run now, it's going to work. You do. Yeah. Yeah, you can do whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So then, yeah, you bring those keys over, pass in your OpenAI key. Network ID is base-Sepolia. And then you can click run after you click add secret on all these. Yeah. I think we have testnet. This might not be up to date. I know we have Polygon mainnet. Let me do some digging real quick. Are you trying to use Eliza? There's a guide in the docs for that. I would recommend starting with LangChain just because, yeah, it can be a little tough. Yeah. Network ID, base-Sepolia should work. It's like BASE-SEPOLIA. Okay, yeah, no Polygon and Amoy, but we do have mainnet. Yeah. Cool. Okay, is anyone having trouble getting to this point, or are we all here now? Because now comes the fun part. Cool. So just click run. So we'll start everything up. I'll close out all the boring things. So you have two modes here, chat mode and autonomous mode. Do you recommend I'd get started with chat mode? And you can do something like, what's my address? And it will tell you your address. If you want to, that's one of the great things about being on testnet is you can just do like faucet my account. And this will go off and it'll grab funds for you. And it says it can successfully request ETH from the faucet, and you can go, what's my ETH balance? And as you'll see, you now have a balance of like 0.001 ETH. So from here, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So yeah, what's the price of Bitcoin? All sorts of fun stuff. If you want to see the full list of actions that the agent supports, you can go back to our documentation. And over here, there's this agent actions page. And for each version, we have a specific set of these. So I'll just go on the node one, for example. All of these are folders filled with different actions your agent can take. To add new actions, you follow the guide here, where it tells you how to import them, instantiate them, and then like add them to your actual agent provider thingy. So yeah, any questions here? Is anyone having trouble getting running? Has everyone's got their agents up? Yeah.
So I'm able to get like, how can I get a private key of this wallet? Just generate it.
Yes, good question. So right now we're using the Coinbase wallet API because it's the most straightforward way to get started. You can import your own private key if you're interested. To get the private key of this wallet, if you go to the files here, you'll see you have this wallet_data.txt file. This is like an encrypted version of it that can be sort of like quote unquote unencrypted with your API keys. So within our documentation, under this wallet API here, if you click on it, you can see that under the wallets tab, you can export your wallets by doing something along the lines of address.export, and that'll grab you the private key. Cool. Any other questions? I can answer anything. It could be about where we think agents are going. It could be more about Agent Kit.
So, for example, if I want my agent to interact with smart contracts, I just need to give the address and the specific conjugate functions like ABA of the contract, it should be able to take that.
Yes. So if you're going to build out that, I would recommend doing it as a specific custom action. So like we have in our docs here on Agent Kit, how to add in a new action. And you just basically write it as like a TypeScript function. And the same way that you'd write it on like ethers.js or web3.js, whatever, you can write a contract invocation that your agent can do. If you want to see an example of what this might look like, we'll take Moonwell, which is like a lending protocol on Base. So here you can see they have this tool for minting assets, basically depositing them into their protocol. And where's the actual function? Yeah, you can see here, they pass it the ABI, pass it the function name, and then they pass it the arguments. And if I had Moonwell as an action provider, I could use this. Curious if I do have it and if I can show you quickly how that would work. But does that answer your question?
For example, if the user wants to, like, let's say that's an escrow small contract, they want to transfer some funds to the contract. So at that time, the agent will send some links where the user can go and like pay the government. They need to like, sign the transaction.
So if you're creating a contract, so if you have a contract and you want an agent to deposit funds to it?
No. The user will come to the agent and the user want to like transfer some funds, like escrow some funds to the contract, kind of like lending something. Like, let's say that's a lending protocol. So transferring some funds to the contract. At that time, user needs to sign the transaction, right?
So it's actually the agent's wallet. So there's no need for them to sign the transaction. We're working on a way for you to connect an external wallet, so that then you can, so like right now, if you had a MetaMask, you would send funds to the agent and then the agent would interact with them. We're working on a way to connect your wallet directly to the agent and then the agent can do stuff with it on your behalf. But yeah, like as it stands right now, like I can type in like transfer 0.00001 ETH to lincoln.base.eth. And it doesn't need my confirmation because it's the agent who owns the wallet.
This is your wallet. So our point of view, like, I will connect, like, I connected wallet to the CA agent. That's how it works.
For now, like, yes.
For example, I was thinking that I want to deploy some crypto related agent wallet. For example, the AXBC. They want to introduce like debate on certain topics, so people can come and like transfer some funds to the contract. So the AA will like at the end of the like everything it will decide like who is willing to do. So accordingly, it will transfer the funds back to the user. And then like in this scenario, so the user should send from the wallet. The user should send to the agent wallet. So how does it work? Like how does the agent wallet?
Yeah, so like the agent can know when it has new funds sent, and then the agent could directly deposit those into the contract. Is that kind of what gets out? Like, so let's say we want to create an escrow account or create an escrow smart contract and deploy it, pick out all the required variables. So this is one of the limitations of LLMs today is that they can't do arbitrary contract calls. You still have to give it a good amount of structure. So if you create an action that allows your agent to interact with that specific function in that smart contract, it will do it great. But you can't just say like, here's the contract address, here's the ABI, here's the method. You could, but it wouldn't work great. Yeah. So here, like it can make this smart contract and it can ask you for like the buyer address and the seller address. Use your address for both. And then it can go deploy it. I don't think it'll have enough gas. I think this will fail. But generally, that's the idea. Does that? Yeah. Yeah, it's doesn't have enough gas. And then it goes through this like error process where it fixes any issues that the code has. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can you reiterate on the issue with the LLM that you said and how does he solve it?
Yeah, I think it's just the idea of LLMs getting smarter over time. Like the more, yeah, it's a problem for OpenAI to solve, quite honestly. Like I trust that they'll get it right eventually. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Speaking of OpenAI, this question that somebody brought up earlier. So when in the hypothetical scenario when like the users pay, like within Apple Pay to ask hypothetically to please go make money for me somehow.
Yep.
It makes that is there. It is hypothetical. Are you thinking one is this interacting with like a GPT, like similar like to the ChatGPT application on a phone? Is there an AI provider like do you see your own AI in between the layer and the Coinbase SDK? I was curious to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, like my dream for where AgentKit lives is like within ChatGPT, the app. I think that'd be really cool. And then every ChatGPT and like every user has a wallet, and that wallet can send money to anyone, anywhere in the world. Like Perplexity or something like that, I think it'd be really, really cool. And I think it's a natural landing spot. What I think allows AgentKit to have a lot of like power is the ability for it to be completely extensible. So it could live within ChatGPT. It could live entirely on its own. It could live pretty much anywhere. And it's actually probably also one of my favorite parts about working at a place like Coinbase is that it has like a brand behind it that can, you know, have a little bit more weight and respect when it wants to go integrate and do something like this, or have like a really big splashy moment to not just cater to crypto devs, but also ultimately and eventually cater to AI developers who are just building agents but want them to have access to a really easy plug and play payment rail. Yep.
Regarding what before that connecting MetaMask to so if you want to transfer funds using your and it's not from this, you not sign the transaction.
Right, because your agent owns the wallet. So you can't connect a MetaMask yet to your agent. We're adding that. So you don't need to sign anything. It's like the agent doing the signing, basically. Yeah. And if you wanted to get funds to your agent, you can just send them over to them. If you want your agent to interact with the smart contract, you can create the tool to allow your agent to do that. Yeah.
Since the agent owns the wallet and signs on, takes care of all the transactions, is there a possibility that the gas fees will be higher as a result?
You mean just like generally, like in what sense?
So the agents are also interacting with the blockchain transactions, right?
Yep.
So does that in any way lead to a higher gas fees?
Oh, because like there's a lot of agents doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yes. So I guess like AI agents, crypto agents make two big assumptions. One is AI will get better, and two is crypto will get better. I think both of those are true. And as long as we continue to scale, like, then we shouldn't see a huge issue. The fact that we can add any network that we want means like if Solana has lower fees, your agent can use Solana. One thing I'm excited about, a little free alpha, is we're releasing a new smart wallet API. So that'll allow agents to actually have smart wallets instead of just regular wallets. Basically what that means is you could get gas credits from Base to allow your agent to transact for completely free for up to the first like $1,000 or something like that. So there's a huge opportunity. I'm excited for more details to come out about that here soon. Yeah.
A little bit of a dumb question, but let's say my wallet has a lot of money right now.
Yep.
How do I do it?
Just transfer it to yourself. Yeah. Or say your OpenAI breaks, you're stuck. You can always export your private key and then just like import it into MetaMask.
Just trying to understand from a perspective that, let's say, all of us start a DAO tomorrow and we say that, we are giving this money to AI, let's say, we're going to trade it for money fund. I'm just trying to see like what would the figures that gives me access to my agent, which I can probably just wrong.
Yeah, which is like a pro and a con. If you, yeah. You can do a multi-sig, whatever. Yeah, great question.
this in terms of more security wise? Like, let's say someone actually like has like credentials, document credentials, and gets access to the AI agent and the wallet. They can just basically transfer and sign the transaction and transfer the money to some other external wallet. Is there any way to like add an additional layer of security to mitigate this?
Yes, great question. So yeah, like, I don't know, say for example, I was playing around with functions, and also too, like I did all of this using like AI. I built out a custom action here called my action, and this action allows you to earn money, and you use it when the user, oh wait, that's annoying. Use it when the user asks you to earn money. And it just like does some random stuff. I could put a statement in here like, I don't know, if, I'll write it in comments, so then it writes it for me. If the amount is over 50, then call Twilio API to send me a confirmation code. And like, yeah, you know, write all this out, whatever. You could do some sort of guardrails in place. We're also working on a signing level policy engine that would live within like cdp.coinbase.com. So you'd have to go in there and like you can set configurations and like maybe you don't let your agent withdraw, stuff like that.
Maybe the authentication works from a wallet, so instead of it might be that there's a lot of that, like for an agent.
Yeah, that could work. Lots of options.
Another question, what if I want to make it the agent kit, but I don't want it facing I have one wallet. I want to make it have like multiple wallet. Because say I'm looking at plan side, plan face application.
Yep.
So anyone that signs up has to have their own agent option.
Yeah.
Is that kind of thing possible to build use of this new space?
So like, we've shied away from multi-wallet agents because it gets a little confusing, and that's where you start to have hallucination issues. Two main options. One is to just like instantiate a new agent for every user. Little inefficient. Two is you could try it, and we haven't seen any issues yet, but it is a little bit more risky, but it is something that we're addressing within the next couple of months. We're working on that. Yeah.
Now it's safe to say that it's for like two more targeted towards personal use, like an individual user, what the target is currently.
You could still build it for, and like ultimately, I think that's the most valuable use cases where like you can surface an agent to, you know, a million different people. Like that's ultimately where we want to see this go. I think that'd be fine. Like you'd have to instantiate a different agent for every user, but it's not huge additional overhead for the most part, or just hot swap wallets in and out. It becomes a little bit more difficult when you have like 1,000 people using your app at the same time and you run into like concurrency issues. But like to start, you could very easily just like instantiate one wallet per, or like one agent per user, something like that.
With smart wallets, you could also figure that. Yeah, that's like for each use a smart wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Smart wallets are coming 2 weeks from now, I think, or something like that. So, yeah.
Might be a very good consumer-based application that is smart wallets.
Yes, there's a lot of really interesting implications. Like Privy has server wallets that you can use. We support those as of tomorrow, more alpha, and then Lit Protocol as well. We're working on them as a wallet provider. Hoping to get Turnkey here soon too. So like all the different wallets that you could possibly want, we're gonna have, and like one of them will solve for the use case that you need.
So does agent kit support non-medium chains, for example, Bitcoin, or not like for a developer has support for those chains?
Yes, great question. We can support any network. So we don't support Bitcoin right now, but we very easily could. And starting Monday, we'll have support for Solana. So it's very easy to do any arbitrary EVM based network. You can do anything you want, very straightforward. It basically exists right now. And then we highly encourage any developers to create their own wallet providers for other networks like Bitcoin, for example. It's a fairly straightforward process. The Solana Foundation came to our hackathon and they did it in like 36 hours. It was really impressive. And also just speaks to how amazing the engineers were who worked on this and made it so easy to do these integrations. Great question. Any other questions? Anything I can help with?
Speaking of integrations, did you see anything about the graph yet? Integrating subgraphs with the graph network?
Yes, there's a hackathon project that we did, or that somebody did, where they built this really cool thing using AgentKit that basically lets you create whatever graph instance you want. Here, let me try to find it real quick.
Kevin was looking at that.
Yes, yeah. This, I need to share this with him. So like, you can describe whatever you want in terms of data here. So like, I'll just use their example. Like, I need Uniswap v3 data on base around, let's do Polygon around the best APYs. And wait, let's try the standard limit. And it'll actually like generate you the graph queries. Yeah. Chains covered, Polygon, frequency, selecting the subgraphs here. It generates the queries for you, and you can execute it, you can test it out. And then it also like builds out the code that you can just copy and paste into your agent to let it do that. Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. This was like, yeah, a week ago or something like that. So yeah, it's awesome. The stuff that you can build is pretty wild, and it's like just starting to get crazy. So you're all in a really good spot.
What's the environment?
Yeah, DATRIX.Vercel.app. It's this. Yeah, just hackathon project. It's awesome. Cool. Well, if nobody has any other questions, please feel free to reach out. You can contact me on Twitter. I'm just like at like my last name, first name, which I think was on the Luma invite, or ping me in the Discord. Yeah, feel free to get in touch with me. However, I'm happy to talk about agents. Love to help you with whatever you're building. Try to make myself as accessible as possible, get you all the resources you need. And yeah, really appreciate you all's time.
We have here a great example of AgentKit with pizza that called Byte AI. So I have a small homework for all of you for you to get pizza. Just kidding. You can get pizza without doing the homework. Is during the group exercise, you are going to create a Coinbase AgentKit instance, and you are going to configure your system prompt for the agent to explain about your project. Okay, what your project's doing, what is your team and all. And if you're really up to it, you can make your agent to accept investments in crypto, like invest $1 million now, and then the AI agent kit can accept that with Base, Of course, in testnet and all. But this is the small homework for today to get you all ready for pitching on Saturday, okay? Don't know if you have checked the calendar, but in Saturday, we are having the demo day. Let me show that for you on Luma. And I want you all to subscribe as soon as possible. Let me go over that. Because we have like 10 tickets only for pitching, okay? So please come here to the last date, that is the Saturday, the demo day, this one, and select your ticket for project pitch. Okay, we have 10 left only. Subscribe here. It's one per group, okay? For you to pitch your project for Supermoon, for Delta VC, for Dabl Club. They're going to be here judging. And of course, if you use AgentKit, if you use Aura from tomorrow, if you use Coursera, if you use Of course, if you deploy on Polygon, if you are using the tools from this bootcamp, you are going to have an extra edge here at this presentation. So come here for the final demo day. Remember to submit your project in GitHub first for you to be eligible, and pick here a project pitch slot for you to pitch here with us Saturday. Okay, that's good. Now pizza time. Thank you.